Mother switched my marriage arrangement with my cousins. I was forced to marry down to a poor scholar while my cousin became the wife of a duke. Years passed and my husband rose through the ranks, reaching the highest position among officials. Yet the duke's household was convicted and imprisoned. My mother, who had ignored me for years, came to beg me for the first time. When my maternal grandmother died, I hadn't been born yet. That day happened to be my mother's hairpin ceremony. She was the Grand Preceptor's only daughter, a model among noble ladies in the capital, proud since childhood. But on her most glorious day, grandmother's affair with the stable hand was exposed by grandfather's concubine. The one who personally went to catch them in the act was grandfather himself. That day the hall was full of distinguished guests, all prominent noble families from the capital. Grandmother hanged herself at home that very night, but those were clearly finger marks on her neck. Mother noticed something was off, but found it too shameful and buried the truth. Because of grandmother's scandal, mother's engagement to the crown prince was called off. Grandfather elevated his concubine to wife, and the concubine's daughter married the crown prince in her place. She gnashed her teeth in hatred, but was helpless. She could only watch as grandfather married her off as a second wife to a fourth-rank official's family. On the day of my third-day bath ceremony, my aunt arrived surrounded by a group of noble ladies, when she was still a daughter at home. My mother was the Grand Preceptor's legitimate eldest daughter, overshadowing her for many years. Now she, a concubine's daughter, had risen to become the crown princess. Naturally, she wouldn't pass up any opportunity to humiliate my mother. In front of all the noble ladies, she covered her lips in feigned surprise and said, "This child actually has a red mole behind her ear exactly like Lucy's mother's." Smile instantly froze. After grandmother was caught in adultery, she was removed from the Grand Preceptor's household registry and was only referred to as Lucy. Mother gripped the wooden basin tightly, glaring viciously at the red mole behind my ear. Her teeth grinding audibly, her eyes red with hatred. The crown prince's consort smiled contentedly. They say granddaughters resemble their grandmothers. Lucy was a great beauty, so this child will surely turn out well. After saying this, she laughingly removed the earrings from her ears and placed them on the side table. Father used to often praise Lucy's ears for being pretty and delicate. I think this child's are even more exquisite. These earrings shall be my gift as her aunt for her third-day celebration. Everyone followed suit with praises, each leaving behind their own earrings, the mockery in their eyes and on their lips unconcealed. Mother was overwhelmed with rage. Suddenly she couldn't catch her breath and actually fainted from anger, becoming a well-known joke among the noble ladies. After Mother woke up, she was like a madwoman. With a dagger, she gouged out the red mole behind my ear. I screamed in heart-wrenching agony, wailing without end. Her eyes were red-rimmed as she raised the blade, aiming it at my throat, murmuring, "It is all because of you, all because of you." If the wet nurse hadn't arrived in time, I would have already lost my life. When father and grandmother found out, they were furious, but no matter what they said, it couldn't change mother's hatred for me. Whenever she saw me, she would curse at me like a madwoman. The wet nurse said through tears, "Madam, it is just a mole. The young miss is your own daughter. Don't let others manipulate you into hurting your loved ones and pleasing your enemies." Mother broke down crying, pointing at me and saying, "She is clearly the reincarnation of that Lu woman." Grandmother looked at my bleeding ear and scolded, "You've gone completely mad." Grandmother was worried and took me away to raise me herself. As I grew older, every time Auntie visited, she would make a few remarks. "This child's features are growing to look like that Lu woman too. Sister, you are so blessed." Mother was displeased in her eyes when she looked at me, besides disgust. There was actually fear. Every time it was the anniversary of maternal grandmother's death, Mother would invite a Taoist priest to perform rituals in the mansion, making me kneel on a cushion to be whipped with willow branches to exorcise evil spirits. When I walked down from the altar covered in wounds yet still alive, Mother was shocked every time, chasing after the priest to demand answers. Are you sure she is not? After years of the same whipping, even the priest couldn't bear it anymore. "Madam, the young miss is just your daughter." "No, impossible. It must be that your skills are lacking." The master left with a flick of his sleeve, saying a few vague words outside. Auntie seized the opportunity to mock Mother, wanted to send someone to find a more powerful master, but not wanting to give Auntie something to laugh about. She could only hold back. Because of this, I was spared some physical suffering. Oh my God. This mother is way too outrageous, carving out a mole with a knife right after her own daughter was born, and inviting masters to whip and exercise her every year. This isn't being a mom, this is practically being an enemy. And the key thing is that Crown Prince Consort Auntie is such a troublemaker too, being all passive-aggressive at the washing ceremony and giving earrings as a veiled insult. I'd call this move textbook-level trampling in palace intrigue. How huge must the female lead's childhood trauma be? Feeling sorry for her for a second. But then again, this mother clearly has psychological issues, venting all her hatred and fear of grandmother onto her daughter. A typical bully the weak, fear the strong character, poor female lead. When I was 7, father brought back my cousin Lin Rujin. He said uncle had gone overseas for business and entrusted the child to us. Lin Rujin was grandmother's biological granddaughter, father's niece, so they naturally agreed. But what surprised everyone was that mother not only agreed, but also let Lin Rujin stay in her courtyard. She said she would personally raise her. Grandmother was worried at first, even I foolishly worried for my cousin. Mother had such a bad temper, always hitting or scolding me. My cousin was even younger than me. How could she endure it? I secretly told my cousin to remember to wear more layers of clothes and pants. When eating at mother's place, you must not make any sound and can only eat a tiny bit. Otherwise, mother will be happy. But you can wait until mother finishes eating, then go to the kitchen and eat with the maids. I warned her about so many things, but I never expected that mother treated her completely differently from me. My cousin said mother was very nice to her. Not only did she let her sit at the same table to eat, she even picked up food for her with chopsticks. I couldn't believe it and argued with her. Certain she was lying, she snorted and told me to go see for myself. I secretly hid by the door crack peeking, watching them from the start of the meal until the end. After that one meal, my legs were stiff and my eyes were terribly sore. My cousin didn't lie to me. What she said was actually all true, and that wasn't all. Mother would even wipe her mouth and ask about her studies. She even reminded her not to kick off the blanket at night or she'd get sick. I felt so awful I couldn't breathe and ran away as if fleeing. I never wanted to pay attention to my cousin again. I was jealous of her. I was so jealous I could die. I wanted her to leave my home. Leave mother. I also wanted to be treated like that by mother. I started clumsily trying to please mother, using all my strength, racking my brain. But she still remained unmoved, ignoring me completely. Finally, she was willing to talk to me. What she said was indeed, "Are you annoying or what? Stop wandering around in front of me when you have nothing to do." Early spring was cold, and my cousin and I both fell ill. Mother blamed me for infecting my cousin, but I clearly got sick after my cousin did. I defended myself feeling wronged, only to receive mother's scolding in return. She stayed by my cousin's sick bed without sleep or rest, yet left me to fend for myself. She saw that my cousin's fever wouldn't go down. She actually lowered herself to beg the aunt she had always despised, just to have the imperial physician come treat my cousin. After my cousin recovered, she acted spoiled and said she'd never seen the banquets in the capital, begging mother to take her. After mother married father, she had shut herself in and stopped socializing because of grandmother's affairs, but she agreed to my cousin's request. This was the first time in so many years that mother accepted an invitation from outside. From then on, all kinds of flower viewing banquets and polo matches in the capital. My cousin didn't miss a single one. Grandmother and father couldn't stand watching anymore and couldn't help but say, "Why don't you take a Yue along too? She is old enough now, she should go out and meet people." My cousin held mother's hand, smiling obediently. "Auntie, just take my cousin along, otherwise they'll all think I am your biological daughter." "You are my biological daughter." Mother's smile came to an abrupt stop when she saw me beside grandmother. "You disgraceful thing. So young, yet already comparing yourself to your sister. So selfish. Your sister grew up in the countryside while you were born in the capital city. You don't know how many advantages you've had. Yet you are still not satisfied." I couldn't hold back my tears from the scolding and ran outside crying. Mother grabbed me back and slapped me hard twice, forcing me to kneel outside the courtyard gate as punishment. "Who are you putting on this disgraceful display for? Those who don't know would think your cousin bullied you. You are so young yet so vicious. Are you trying to ruin your cousin's reputation? And you even dared to scheme and use your father and grandmother as your messengers." I endured the burning pain on my cheeks and cried, saying I didn't, But no matter how I explained, Mother wouldn't believe me. It wasn't until it started pouring outside that Grandmother took me away. I threw myself into Grandmother's arms crying, sobbing uncontrollably, asking over and over again, why doesn't Mother like me? Why is she so good to my cousin? Grandmother wiped my tears while sternly lecturing me with a straight face. Ah, Yue. You are the older sister. Don't be so narrow-minded. You must never hold a grudge against your cousin. Understand? You need to be nicer to your cousin. She is younger than you, and her parents aren't by her side. She is much more pitiful than you. Besides, you two are still blood relatives. I froze, with only tears falling unconsciously. The remaining grievances stuck in my throat, and I couldn't say a single word. Yet, I couldn't swallow them down either. I felt so miserable I almost wanted to die. Why won't I just die? Why won't I just die? Stop, stop, stop. What kind of human tragedy is this? The birth mother treats her niece better than her own daughter, and the key point is the grandmother even pulled a moral guilt trip. You are the older sister, so you should yield to your younger sister. The female lead has already been beaten like this, and she is still expected to be magnanimous. I'd call this the Pua triple combo, biased birth mother, green tea cousin, and fence-sitting grandmother. The female lead is just a 7-year-old child being pushed to the point of wanting to die. Are this family's hearts made of stone? I am really gonna die of anger. This cousin is obviously doing it on purpose. Okay, what otherwise? They'll all think I am your biological daughter. Isn't this just blatant showing off green tea level? Maxed out, that heavy rain nearly took my life. I had a fever for 3 days and 3 nights, and Grandmother begged Mother to go ask Auntie to summon the imperial physician. Mother said coldly, life and death are fated, wealth and honor are determined by heaven. Why force it? She knows full well I don't get along with that person, yet still forces me. This child is my jinx and calamity. It is better if she dies. Even when Grandmother knelt down to beg her, she remained unmoved. In the end, the doctor said, prepare for the funeral early. Mother breathed a sigh of relief. Grandmother let out a wail and fainted from crying. But I didn't die. My life was too tough. And I still survived. My cousin came bouncing over holding a hand warmer to see me. She smiled and waved it at me with round eyes, so cute. The words she spoke were filled with a young girl's innocent malice. Ani made this for me. You should have one too, right, sister? She held my hand and covered her mouth in surprise. Cousin, why are you crying? You don't know, but during the days you were sick, you scared me to death. We all thought you were going to die. The family had already started preparing white cloth. Mother thought you wouldn't wake up, so she went to the clan leader and had me adopted under her name. From now on, we'll be real sisters. Aren't you happy? The girl's laughter was full of joy and delight. Even though there was charcoal burning in the room, my whole body was ice cold and trembling. My heart ached as if a piece of flesh had been carved out. I gritted my teeth, refusing to let another tear or trace of sorrow escape. Really? That is wonderful. Sister is happy for you too. I opened my eyes and smiled weakly, my clear, dazed eyes meeting hers. I would no longer be weak in retreat. Sorrow reached its depth, despair reached its end. Grievance and sadness transformed into unwilling hatred, giving birth to a desire to live. My cousin froze for a moment, somewhat surprised, but her lips still curved in a smile. I knew it. Sister, you are the best cousin. Auntie treats me so well. Sometimes I wonder if you are really Auntie's daughter. She leaned closer to me with great interest, her big innocent eyes wide open. Aren't there often stories in storybooks about babies being switched at birth? Do you think maybe I am actually Auntie's real daughter? I glared at her fiercely, feeling murderous for the first time, speaking without thinking. My mother was so beautiful. How could she possibly give birth to an ugly daughter like you? She puffed up her cheeks in anger, her eyes rolling, and mocked. Cousin is indeed beautiful, but she doesn't look like Auntie. She looks like Auntie's mother. Do you know why Auntie doesn't like you? It is because you look exactly like your grandmother. She bit her lip and looked at me, full of jealousy, just like an enchantress. An enchantress is still better than looking plain as salt like you. She couldn't pretend anymore, crying resentfully as she went to tattle to Mother. I was no longer going to sit and wait for death, waiting for Mother's slaps and insults. Instead, I sent someone to fetch grandmother. I repeated what my cousin had said. Perhaps besides self-preservation, there was also my own dark revenge. When mother came to find me with my younger cousin, I embellished what my cousin had said to me and threw it back at mother. Am I really an enchantress like grandmother? Mother, is it truly because I look like grandmother that you've been so cruel to me all these years? Then why did you give birth to me? Why didn't you just kill me? Or did you want to kill me but were afraid of dirtying your own hands? I questioned her word by word, using grandmother's presence here to force her into embarrassment. Mother was furious, angrily slapping my cousin across the face and interrogating her. Who told you all this? From now on, if anyone in this household is caught gossiping about the second miss or mentioning that Lee woman, they'll be sold off or beaten to death. I fled in panic and my cousin was put in confinement. Grandmother asked me helplessly, feel better now, satisfied. I wept silently. Grandmother, I've just given up hope after this serious illness. I began to worry about my future. The tutor looked at my coursework with satisfaction. Yue, you might have a chance to enter the Women's Academy. What is that? The tutor was extremely surprised. You really don't know. I had never left home, nor did I have any close friends. The only one serving me was my wet nurse, an illiterate village woman. The tutor explained to me, longing in her eyes. The Women's Academy was founded by Emperor Taizong with rigorous teaching. Throughout history, the students who could graduate from the Women's Academy could be counted on one hand. But every single one of them rose to great heights and changed their fate against all odds. Once you get in, not only are all expenses covered, but you'll also receive money every month. If you can survive the 6th year examination and graduate successfully, the court will even reward you with 1,000 taels of gold. But throughout history, only 2 people have survived the 6th year examination. It is no exaggeration to say it is as hard as ascending to heaven. And so, getting into the Women's Academy became my only way out of here. I began studying as if my life depended on it, burning the midnight oil, keeping the lamps lit, working without rest or sleep. Exam after exam, I beat my cousin every single time. Whether it was policy essays or music, chess, calligraphy, and painting. She couldn't compare to me in any of them. Seeing this, father couldn't help but sigh. If only you were born a boy. You are the only child in this family who inherited my talent for studying. With the tutor's persuasion, father spent a fortune to hire a retired grand tutor to teach me. The day the tutor left the residence, I gathered my skirt and knelt down, tearfully kowtowing to him 3 times. Teacher, thank you, he smiled and said. Yue, my knowledge is limited. I can only accompany you this far. You are a good child in the future. More people will appreciate and cherish you. Don't stay trapped in hatred and don't lose your ability to love. My heart trembled as if struck. When I looked up, he had already left. Only the silhouette of his green robe remained before my eyes soon. It disappeared from sight. 3 years later, I took first place in the entrance exam for the Girls' Academy. The grand tutor was full of praise for my policy essays. Father and grandmother were overjoyed, but mother's face was gloomy, because my cousin had failed to get in. Must you be so competitive? Your cousin is crying. Would it kill you to let her win? Suppressing the sarcasm in my heart, I asked in confusion. Does mother not know? There were nearly 300 places between me and my cousin. Even if I held back, she still wouldn't have gotten in. Mother's face turned deathly pale with anger, while my cousin's face flushed red as she ran off. And I held that exam paper marked with a top grade in vermilion ink. As if grasping a life-saving straw, I could finally leave this place. After entering the Girls' Academy, I realized it wasn't easy to study there, because every year there was an exam, and those who couldn't pass had to go home. So with 6 years of schooling, almost no one could make it through the 6th year. But I was determined to be the first after staying a few days. I realized this place was like a small court, and I couldn't just focus on studying as I'd hoped. My classmates included princesses, commandery princesses, county princesses, as well as daughters of the wealthiest families from various prefectures and counties, monopolizers of certain industries, while my father was just a minor 4th-rank official. I took first place in the entrance exam, which naturally made these noble children jealous and resentful. Half a year passed. and I suffered much hardship and endured much humiliation. But the trials taught me to hide my talents and conceal my edge. My grades each time were neither ahead nor behind, not outstanding, but still passable. Gradually, no one noticed me anymore. The first year, the second year, the third year, many people left the academy. Yet I stayed every single time. Gradually, more families came to propose marriage. Mother declined them all, but lavishly praised my cousin to them instead. Once when pressed, she couldn't help but say I was unruly and incorrigible at home. Father had a huge fight with her because, at this moment, I was no longer that little child at home who had to rely on my parents to survive, yet couldn't bring any value to the family. Now my marriage could bring benefits to the family and to my brother. Mother's malice toward me indirectly affected father's interests. Father could no longer sit by and do nothing. So it turns out he wasn't a dead man after all. In the 5th year examination at the girls' academy, only I remained. My ambitions, disapproved of by the world, were only appreciated by the teachers who had taught and guided me all along. I was their kindred spirit and also their successor. The news I left behind spread throughout the capital city in an instant. The Dukian's household was the first to come propose marriage, seeking my hand for their heir. Father agreed, and the marriage was settled just like that. But I knew that the heir of Dukian was an utter good for nothing. The Dukian's household simply needed a daughter-in-law who could manage the household affairs, take care of their indulgent son, and be easy to control. In the 6th year, I successfully passed this final examination and returned home. The Dukian's household personally sent someone with a carriage to pick me up. When the carriage arrived at the manor gates, Mother had no choice but to come out and socialize with the people from the Duke's household. 6 years without seeing each other, she still looked the same as in my memories, mean-spirited and beautiful. I bowed to her in greeting and said calmly, "Mother, I am back." After seeing off the people from the Dukian's household, she sneered at me with a sidelong glance. "What grand airs the eldest miss puts on. I suppose I should kneel down and beg you to come back," trying to use the Duke's household to pressure me. "Wait until you actually marry into it before you talk." I smiled radiantly. Mother is right, she choked, unable to respond, and stormed off in anger. The Duke's manor soon came to present betrothal gifts, and grandmother was overjoyed. She asked Mother about my dowry. Mother said indifferently, "My dowry is all for Rujin. There is nothing for her. Since she is so capable of climbing up to the Duke's manor, let the Duke's manor give her a dowry." Grandmother coughed in anger, and Father was also furious, but they couldn't control Mother. After all, my maternal grandfather is still the grand preceptor of the court. Grandmother could only give me all of her own dowry. My cousin threw a fit, and grandmother said disappointedly, "Rujin, you already have too much. It is enough. Your sister has nothing, only me." My cousin left in anger. Uncle sent a letter, begging Father and Mother to find a good family for my cousin. Father found a scholar for my cousin named Yinjian, though, from a humble family. This man's talent was exceptional. When I went to the study to deliver something to Father, I happened to overhear Father testing him on his studies. He responded with composure. I glanced at the policy essay on his desk and couldn't help but sigh inwardly. My cousin is really lucky with Yin Jian's talent. If he took the imperial examination, top 3 wouldn't be a problem. It would just be a matter of choosing between Zhongyuan and Tanhua. No wonder Father wanted to secure the engagement while Yin Jian was still just a scholar. He was placing a bet. Father repeatedly assured Mother that Yin Jian was extraordinary. Mother didn't listen to a single word and even got into a physical fight with Father. It is not your child, so you don't care. Such a poor family. And you want Rujin to marry into it. Your heart is completely black. You are practically sending Rujin to her death. How can she live such a hard life? But no matter how much Mother made a fuss, Father had already made the arrangement. Uncle also thought it was quite good. My cousin threw a fit crying, making a scene and threatening to hang herself. Mother was so heartbroken, she fainted several times. I thought they would accept their fate, but I never expected Mother to be bold enough to swap my marriage certificate with my cousin's mother, changed my wedding and my cousin's wedding to the same day. When the bridal sedan turned into the alley and headed in the opposite direction from the Duke's mansion, I had already realized what happened, but pretended not to know and still went through with the wedding ceremony. With Yin Jian, the Yin Duke's mansion had a glorious reputation, but the young lord was quite dissolute. Not only did he visit prostitutes during the national mourning period, he had also beaten commoners to death. Compared to marrying the young lord, if I could choose, I would rather choose Yin Jian. Not only would I not have to be a tool for the family's social climbing, I also wouldn't have to deal with such a stupid and fat husband. When Yin Jian lifted my veil and saw my face clearly, he was startled for a moment. He apologized to me and wanted to take me to the Duke's mansion, saying there was still time. I pretended to look innocent, panicking and following him. Outside the Yin family's main gate, guards stood blocking the way with weapons in hand. Mother had cut off all contact with the Grand Preceptor's manor since she married out. Now, for the sake of my cousin, even the Grand Preceptor's manor soldiers have come. Yin Jian was a clever man and quickly understood the situation. He took my hand and led me back to the room, remaining silent for a long time. It was already the third watch of the night. Over at my cousin's side, the consummation should be happening by now. The matter was already set in stone, impossible to change anymore. At a quarter past the hour of Mao, Yin Jian stood up, walked over to me, and helped remove my hairpins and earrings. My mother died early. There is only my father at home, and I am the only son. Our family isn't wealthy, but we have a few dozen acres of farmland to make ends meet. If you are willing to marry me, I'll treat you well. If you are not willing, after I pass the imperial examination and reach the palace exam, I'll personally petition His Majesty and seek justice for you. I was somewhat surprised. How can you be so sure you'll make it to the palace exam? Among this year's candidates, many are more handsome than me. I can't guarantee Tanhua, but Zhuangyuan is as easy as reaching into my pocket. There is actually someone in this world more arrogant and conceited about their studies than me. I looked at him, refined and fair, with the appearance of a delicate scholar, quite pleasing to the eye. After tonight alone together as an unmarried man and woman, even if you petition for me before the throne, what could it change? Young Master Yin, whether I accept it or not, I have to accept it. From now on, you are my husband. Wait, I don't understand this plot twist. The female lead clearly knew her marriage was switched, yet she went along with it and married the poor scholar. I'd call this move turning the tables. The key is this Yin Jian is such a hidden gem. The young lord is a good-for-nothing wastrel. But this humble gentleman is a potential top scholar candidate. The female lead's judgment is incredible, directly giving up the glory and wealth of the Duke's mansion to choose a promising blue-chip stock. And Yin Jian's character is so upright, not touching her on their wedding night, even saying he'd petition before the court for justice. Now that is a real man. The cousin thought she snatched a treasure, but actually picked up a mess. The female lead is the real winner. The next day, the guards outside the door were withdrawn. I brought Yin Jian back to find Mother, and people from the Duke's mansion happened to come out. When we met, my cousin smiled at me arrogantly. I understood then that Mother had already arranged everything for her. Cousin is used to living a hard life. Going to the Yin family is like a fish in water for her. Yin Jian said coldly, "If you don't want everyone to know you stole your sister's marriage, shut up." My cousin bit her lip and stormed off angrily. Yin Jian said to me, "I will earn you a noble title. I won't let you live a hard life, trust me." I trust you. I naturally trusted him, although Yin Jian came from a humble family. His ancestors had connections in the officialdom. Not to mention his academic performance was indeed excellent. After seeing Mother, she showed no remorse whatsoever. "What are you here for? What is done is done. Go back and live your life with your husband and prepare for the imperial examination." I said indifferently, "Mother, those who have nothing to lose fear nothing. I can beat the Dengguan drum, and we'll all go down together. At worst, I'll go smash my head to death before the emperor right now. Let's see how the Grand Preceptor's manor and the Duke's manor can stay in the capital city then. You may be shameless, they may be shameless. But is my cousin shameless too? Will the Duke's manor let her off?" Mother's expression darkened. I smiled and said, "But mutual destruction isn't worth it. But Yin Jian's family is poor. We have no money. And Mother, you didn't give me any dowry when I got married. I am not asking for much. Whatever you gave my cousin, give me double, Mother. I am your biological daughter after all," she said angrily. "Don't even think about it. Fine, nothing to discuss then." I stood up and left. "Let's go, Yin Jian. We're going to beat the Dengguan drum." Yin Jian was very obedient and immediately followed. "Yes, madam." Just as I was about to walk out the door, Mother's reluctant voice rang out. I agree. I wasn't exactly happy. There was still some cold sadness. This was my mother. Yin Jian grasped my wrist. The reluctance and pity in his eyes made my nose sting, and I said resentfully, "What are you looking at? Marrying me." "You've hit the jackpot." A smile spread through his eyes. Don't cry. I won't spend your money. I can earn money and support you too. Song Yue, just wait and watch me become the top scholar. Yin Jian was a man of his word. On the day the results were posted, he ranked in the top 3. Father was overjoyed and praised him repeatedly. After the palace examination, he took first place as the top scholar. When he paraded through the streets on horseback, I waited outside the gate. He smiled and plucked the flower from his chest, tossing it into my arms, full of spirit. "Now you are the wife of the top scholar. In the future, I'll make you a first-rank noble lady." I clutched the flower, my heart softening a bit, then thought defiantly, "I am also really good at studying if I had taken the exam. The third place title would have been mine, because I am way better looking than him. A noble title, I can earn that myself." When Yin Jian was assigned his official post, the Duke of Yin's manor pulled some strings. Yin Jian was sent away to serve as an official in Bingzhou, that remote border city. The day he left the capital, he traveled alongside the exiled third prince, so he was given an additional task of escorting him. Yin Jian and I exchanged a glance. We both understood what the other was thinking. The third prince's maternal grandfather was a general who held great power. Before we set off, my cousin came specially to see me off. "Cousin, you won't be coming back, and don't come back either. Mother doesn't want to see you from now on." "I'll take care of Mother. You can leave." I looked at the prosperity of the capital city one day. I will return. Assassinations kept happening along the way. Only then did I understand what my cousin meant by her final words. Fortunately, the people protecting the third prince along the route also protected us instantly, so our lives were spared. During the 5 years in Bingzhou, my horseback archery skills improved greatly. Bingzhou was desolate at first, but after Yin Jian submitted a memorial to open the border market, this place gradually prospered, rivaling even the capital city. The border was full of military generals, which tempered the scholarly air on Yin Jian, replacing it with a more ruthless aura. One night, Yin Jian suddenly handed me a divorce document. The third prince was harmed by the crown prince back then. Now, after 5 years of lying low, he is going to rebel. I am already tied to him. If we lose, the whole family gets executed. If we win, we rise to the top. I'll have someone escort you beyond the frontier. Keep this money safe. If we win, I'll come get you. If we lose, take care of yourself. I put away the divorce document. All right, come get me soon. I want to eat the braised beef you make. Got it, he smiled. The 5 years of peaceful days in Bingzhou ended on this day. I exchanged all the money for provisions and delivered them to Yin Jian. He was both anxious and angry. "Didn't I already send you away?" I knew he wouldn't give up unless I signed the divorce document. I just needed to calm him down for now. Enough talk. Just do your job well. I am still waiting to become a first-rank noble lady. He turned his back and wiped away his tears. Got it. After a year of bloodshed, the crown prince died, and my aunt followed him to the grave. The grand preceptor's entire household was executed, and I learned some secrets. The third prince ascended the throne as emperor. Yin Jian became a close minister to the Son of Heaven, taking charge of the Court of Judicial Review to interrogate those connected to the Crown Prince. The entire Yin Duke's household was imprisoned. My cousin was naturally among them, for 6 years. My mother, who had ignored me, finally came to see me for the first time, but it was to beg me to spare my cousin. The people of the Duke's household deserve to die. Let them die, but your cousin is innocent. The Crown Prince's line was executed, and my aunt, the Crown Princess, also died. The resentment she had suppressed in her heart was finally relieved. She was actually happier than anyone. As long as you get the young lord to write a divorce document, your sister can be released. For Yin Jian, this is just a small matter. I smiled and nodded. Indeed, it is a small matter. Now that he is in charge of the Court of Judicial Review, even altering a confession or releasing a person is the smallest of matters. Killing a person is the same. Mother was somewhat displeased. When it comes down to it, Yin Jian was originally your cousin's husband. You took your cousin's marriage. Now your cousin is suffering in prison. She is suffering in your place. Do you have any idea what kind of life she has been living in the Yin family all these years? Her husband caught a disease from visiting prostitutes and passed it to her. This is the great marriage you arranged." At this point, her eyes reddened. Filled with resentment toward me, I fiddled with the hand warmer in my arms. "The cover was made for me by Yin Jian, mother. Have you gone mad? Back then you were the one who schemed to steal this marriage from my sister. My original plan was to marry into the Duke's mansion, get pregnant, and then get rid of the heir. If my cousin had done the same, at least her husband wouldn't be in prison now as the Crown Prince's associate, and the Duke's mansion could have been saved. You brought this on yourself, how can you blame me?" Her face stiffened. "Your cousin is kind-hearted, how could she be as vicious as you?" I stood up and approached her with some amusement, meeting her eyes, "Mother, can't you see the situation clearly yet? Are you asking me for a favor or what? Is this how you talk to me? Your maternal family has fallen, you have nothing to rely on anymore. Why do you think father hasn't divorced you yet? Go back, come talk to me again when you figured things out." I turned and went inside, leaving her alone in the courtyard cursing at me. I passed the examination as I wished and became a teacher at the Women's Academy, teaching and resolving doubts. Only these books could truly calm me down. My cousin suffered greatly in prison. Mother came several times, but I refused to see her. She grew more and more haggard, and her father became increasingly cold toward her. With nowhere to turn for help, she fainted after visiting the prison and seeing her cousin's wretched state from the whipping. After waking up, she took out all her money to bribe the officials. As her daughter, I reminded her one last time, "This money is your last lifeline. With it, you could still buy a small courtyard and live out the rest of your days. Get lost, you hypocrite. If it weren't for you, how would your cousin have ended up in prison? I should never have come to find you." I laughed. This time, it was a smile from deep within, so you found out, yes, she didn't have to go in at all. "Thanks to you, she ended up there." She froze. "What do you mean?" I looked at the white hair on her head and her gradually aging face. "Because you treated her well, and I was jealous of her. Once she is dead, I won't be jealous anymore, and I won't feel bad anymore. Mother, I am trapped in my childhood, always feeling sad. I think once she is dead, maybe I won't feel sad anymore." "Don't you think?" Mother was struck as if by lightning. She suddenly grabbed my hand. "You can't kill her." I shook off her hand, smiling coldly. "Just wait to collect her corpse." This part gave me goosebumps. The female lead's line, "Because you treated her well. I was jealous of her," is the ultimate explosion of childhood trauma. Years of grievances and hatred, all condensed into this one sentence. The mother is still saying, "Your cousin is kind-hearted even now." Still blaming the female lead for being vicious if this isn't gaslighting. What is the key point is that the female lead now holds great power, and her cousin's life hangs on her single thought. This revenge is so satisfying, but honestly, how deep must the female lead's psychological trauma be? She has already become a female academy instructor, married the top scholar, yet still can't escape her childhood shadows. This mother really ruined the female lead's entire life, and now she comes begging for mercy. Dream on, father, came to plead with me after all. My cousin is his niece. She is your blood cousin, you share blood relations. It would have been better if he hadn't said that. Now that he did, I am even more displeased. I was originally planning to let my cousin live a bit longer. Well, not anymore. No need to live now. Just die. I made a special trip to visit my cousin in prison. With this quarter of blood relation, I should at least see her off one last time, but I saw her kneeling before my husband, clutching his trouser leg, crying with tears streaming down. "Yin Jian, I was the one originally betrothed to you. I was wrong. I'll make it up to you properly from now on." The young lord gave me the divorce document. But it was sister who tore it up. It was sister who wanted to harm me, to take my life. My noble and gentle husband crouched down and smiled at her. "Then just die. As long as you are alive, my wife will be reminded of the bad old days whenever she sees you, and that will make her unhappy. I don't want my wife to be unhappy. If my wife is unhappy, I won't have a good time either." My cousin's face turned deathly pale. She stumbled back a few steps and collapsed to the ground. "No, I don't want to die. Mother, save me. Mother, save me." Yin Jian frowned and gave orders to the jailer behind him. "Clean this up properly." As he turned around, he saw me. His slightly narrowed eyes instantly widened, looking a bit flustered. "Why are you here? Have you eaten? Let me make you something to eat." I looked at him as if I knew nothing. "Not yet? Wasn't I waiting for you to come home and cook?" Okay, just wait a moment, my dear. Let me wash my hands." I'll be right there after I wash my hands. Mother spent all her money and only managed to retrieve my cousin's corpse. She nearly cried her eyes blind and still wanted to beat the appeal drum to accuse me. I am now the most successful child in the family, without even needing Yinjian to intervene. Father would never allow her to do such a thing. I really don't know anymore. Is Yue our daughter, or is it Rujin? You've been crazy for all these years, haven't you had enough? Father had her locked up. On the day of my cousin's burial, Yinjian accompanied me there. After offering incense, I went to Mother's courtyard. This place has fallen into disrepair. There is not even a single person to take care of her. Her left hand was bound with chains, hanging from the bedside, hair disheveled, no longer the noble bearing of the past. The servants brought a chair. I sat down in front of her, looking around at every furnishing in the room. When I was little, I really liked coming to your room. You said whenever I came, I'd be shifty-eyed and looking around, too uncouth to be presentable. Actually, I was just secretly watching you. I thought my mother was so beautiful, I could never look enough. I don't know why you hated me. It wasn't even dislike, but pure hatred. Was it just because I look like grandmother? But now I know why. I rambled on in front of her, but Mother didn't even lift an eyelid. Not until I mentioned grandmother. Only then did she raise her head and glare at me viciously. Bitch, but I knew those words weren't cursing me. She was cursing grandmother. I crouched down to look at her, brushing the hair away from her face. I straightened her head, making her look properly at me and her in the mirror. Mother, I've seen grandmother's portrait. Compared to her, I look more like you. Don't I? So why don't you think that way? I leaned close to her ear, whispering coldly. Is it because you strangled grandmother to death? You are afraid I am grandmother reborn to take revenge on you, aren't you? Her whole body began to tremble violently, screaming in terror. No, that is not true. I didn't strangle her. It was you. I laughed in her ear. Grandfather just wanted to send her to the manor. Because he was the one who arranged that coachman, he framed grandmother and knew better than anyone that she was innocent. He just wanted to make his childhood sweetheart concubine the legal wife, to give his favorite daughter legitimate status, so she could replace you as the crown prince's consort. He never intended to take grandmother's life. It was you who felt humiliated, strangled grandmother, then hung up the white silk to make it look like she hanged herself. Mother, you look at my face that resembles grandmother's with hatred, disgust, and fear. Then, looking at your own face that is identical to grandmother's day and night, aren't you afraid? She pushed me away like a madwoman and shouted loudly, That is not true. You are lying. You are lying. She was the shameless one. She did those disgraceful things. She ruined me like this. I was supposed to be the crown prince's consort. I was supposed to be so radiant. It is all because of her. I stood up with contempt. Grandmother doted on you and loved you. When she was framed, you didn't investigate to clear her name or avenge her. You only felt she embarrassed you. Mother, you are really cowardly, only daring to vent your hatred and fear on me when I was little. You didn't dare to stand up against grandfather, only daring to torment me when I was young and powerless. I looked down on you. I stopped paying attention to her and instead had portraits of my maternal grandmother hung all over her room. The room was brightly lit day and night. She covered her head and screamed until one day she went mad. Not long after her death, I was found to be pregnant. I caressed my still flat belly. One day I will become a mother and I will love my child dearly, protecting her from worry for life. Hairpin ceremony. The hairpin ceremony was the coming of age ritual for women in ancient times, usually held when a girl turned 15. The hairpin was a pin used to secure the hair bun in ancient times. During the ceremony, a female elder would arrange the girl's hair into a bun and insert the hairpin, signifying that she had come of age and could now discuss marriage. This was a very important ceremony in a woman's life, usually witnessed by invited relatives and friends, making it a grand occasion. To put it simply, it is the ancient version of a coming-of-age ceremony. A 15-year-old girl puts her hair up and sticks in a hairpin, and boom, she is an adult now, ready to start matchmaking and getting married. In modern terms, it is like saying, congratulations, from today you can legally get married. In this story, the female lead's mom's hairpin ceremony was supposed to be the highlight of her life, but it turned into a public humiliation scene. Her own mother was caught cheating on the spot. The crown prince called off the engagement, and she fell from heaven to hell in just one night. I'd call this move hairpin ceremony turned death anniversary. From then on, This day every year became her psychological trauma memorial day. So yeah, the pressure on noble ladies' coming of age ceremonies in ancient times was way too much if things went wrong. It could be the starting point of a lifelong nightmare.